Ever had one of those brilliant ideas, but then you're hit with that question, okay, now what? Well, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into Guy Kawasaki's legendary guide, The Art of the Start. We're going to figure out how you take that little spark and turn it into something that can actually change the world. So who's our guide here? It's Guy Kawasaki. This guy's a legend. He was one of the original evangelists for Apple. He's a serial entrepreneur, a VC. He's seen it all. And his whole goal with this book, it's pretty straightforward. He wants to take all the tough lessons he learned the hard way and just make your journey a whole lot easier. Just like he says, this is all for you.
This is the question, right? It's the one that every single founder faces. You've got this amazing idea, you've got all this passion, but that first step, man, it can feel like you're standing at the bottom of Mount Everest. Where in the world do you even begin?
Okay, so let's get into it. Section 1. Kawasaki says, hold on. Before you even think about writing code or building a prototype, you've got to start with the why, the spark. It all comes down to one thing, making meaning.
And that brings us to the most fundamental question of all. But here's the thing, there's a trick to this question. Because the answers that probably pop into your head first, to make a ton of money, get rich, be the boss, Kawasaki says, nope, those are actually the wrong answers.
So if it's not about the money, what is it about? He says the truly great companies, the ones that last, they start with a desire to make meaning. They're trying to make the world a little bit better, fix something that's broken, or maybe just put something beautiful out there. His whole philosophy is basically this. If you focus on making meaning, the money, yeah, that'll probably come later.
Now here's another really important piece of this. You can't change the world by yourself. I mean, we all have this image of the lone genius, right? The Steve Jobs in a garage, inventing the future all by himself. But Kawasaki says that's a total myth. Innovation, it's a team sport, through and through. And this quote, I love this. It really nails the power of having a co-founder. Think about it. That very first person who hears your crazy idea and says, yeah, I'm in, that person is everything. They're the one who takes you from being a lone nut to being a leader. They're basically your startup soulmate.
All right, so you've got your why. You're making meaning. Now it's time to get to the what. And this section is all about actually building something. But here's the twist. It's about launching something that is, believe it or not, kind of cringeworthy. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about mission statements. Those super long, boring paragraphs full of corporate buzzwords? Kawasaki says forget them. What you need is a mantra. A mantra is short, it's punchy, it's memorable. Like, think about Nike. Their official mission statement is, well, it's long. But their mantra, authentic athletic performance. 3 words, that's it, and it tells you everything you need to know. And that leads us to this absolute gem from Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn. He says, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. I mean, wow. The point isn't to be perfect, the point is to learn. You have to get something out there, into the hands of real people, to see if your idea even has legs. Waiting around trying to make it perfect, that's how startups die. So you've probably heard of the MVP, the minimum viable product. Well, Kawasaki takes that idea and beefs it up. He adds 2 more V's, creating the MVP. Here's what that means. It's not enough for your product to just be viable, like it works. It also has to be valuable. People have to get something out of it. And it has to validate your big picture, your grand vision. It's a much higher bar to clear. The Aeron chair. This thing is basically the symbol of what not to do. Back in the dot-com boom, you had all these startups burning through cash on stuff like this, these super expensive chairs, to look like a real company. And Kawasaki's point is so simple but so crucial. Focus on function, not form. Put every dollar you have into making the product better, not into buying fancy furniture. Okay, quick recap. You've got your meaning. You've launched your cringeworthy first version. Now comes the hustle. This is where you have to get out there and convince everyone else to believe in what you're building. It's all about the pitch. For a founder, this isn't a joke, it's your reality. Pitching isn't just that one big meeting with investors. No way. You are pitching all the time. You're pitching new employees, you're pitching potential partners, you're pitching every single customer. You're always selling the dream. So how do you make that pitch, that evangelism, easier? You want your product to live right here, high and to the right. Think of it like this. The up and down axis is all about how different you are from everyone else.
The side-to-side axis is about how valuable you are, how much people actually need what you have. That top right corner, that's the magic zone. That's where you're super unique and super valuable. That's where people start talking about you for free. Okay, here's a killer, super practical tip for any pitch you ever give. Every time you make a claim, let's say you say, our product uses 128-bit encryption, you have to immediately answer the question your audience is thinking. So what? So you answer, so what? It means it's incredibly difficult to hack our system. But then, and this is the key, you follow it up with the two most powerful words in pitching. For instance, and then you give a real concrete example. It makes everything click.
And that brings us to the final section, and honestly, maybe the hardest part of all. It's not about the launch, it's not even just about the pitch. It's about the long game. It's about building something that lasts, and that means learning how to lead.
Yeah, if you think leadership is what's happening in this picture, just pointing and telling people what to do, well, you might be in for a rude awakening. Kawasaki's pretty clear. True leadership has nothing to do with giving orders. It's about creating a culture where people can get stuff done, and empowering them to be amazing without you looking over their shoulder.
Okay, check out this matrix from Bob Sutton at Stanford. It's a little controversial. We can all agree the best boss is in that top right corner. They're competent and they're not a jerk. Easy. But what's the second best option? You'd think it's the nice but incompetent person, right? Wrong. It's the competent asshole. And the point is pretty sharp. At the end of the day, teams need to get results, and an effective jerk is often more valuable than a lovable failure.
But look, after all the talk about products and pitches and bosses, Kawasaki brings it all home to something much bigger. He says the ultimate goal isn't just about winning or making money. The highest calling is to become a mensch. It's this great Yiddish word that means a person of real integrity, of honor. It's about being a good, ethical, admirable human being through this whole crazy process.
And that's really what it all boils down to. Because building a great company is amazing, for sure, but building a great life, that's something else entirely. And the real test of your character, the real measure of you as a person, isn't how you treat the VCs or the big partners. It's how you treat the person who can do absolutely nothing for you. And that, right there, is the true art of the start.